Okay guys, in this video I'm going to contain all the concepts and the commands we took in Python programming language. Let's start from the beginning, how to build our own program. I'll try to get all the ideas we took and put them in one program so you can use it as a revision. First of all, let's start with a loop, how we can loop inside Python. Previously we said we have two shapes of loop. The first one is called conditional loop, and we use for it a command called while. On the other hand, we have another loop called for loop, and it's a counter loop. It uses a counter to repeat the commands. Let me show you the first one and the second one, and later on I'm going to make a false loop to let this program works infinitely. So again, let's start. Change the language first to be Python 3, and then for variable, whatever the variable name can be. It can be m, for example. For m in range, and then I have to mention the range here, like for example, I need the program to do the following: to print the value of m. While I press run now, the program is going to print here the values of the m variable. Again, it looks like it's lagging. Let's refresh the page. Okay, so the program here displayed all the values of the variable m starting from the value of 0, and then it stopped before the value of 4. So here the program repeated itself for 4 times. That's why we call it that's why we call it counter loop. It counts for 4 times and then it stopped. On the other hand, we have another loop called conditional loop. To build it, we use a command called while. But for this one, we might need to assign a variable first and give it a value, similar to m, for example, equals to 0. It means here the first value of the variable m is going to be equal to 0. While this m less than or equal to 5, for example, the program has to do the following. In this particular type of looping, I have to use something called incrementation equation. This one, or this equation, I use it to increment or to increase the value of the variable while running or while executing the program. So I can write it similar to this: m equals to m plus 1. This means the new value of variable m, is equal to the old value of variable m plus 1. Okay, and then I can here print. I can print the value of the variable to be displayed to the user. Press run. Let's check. Here the program displayed the values from 0 up to 5. Okay, so here we set a condition for the program to be running, and according to this condition, the program is going to keep repeating. Okay, what if I want this program to be repeated infinitely without stoppage? Here I'm going to set a false loop for a false condition for the program, a condition that I know it cannot be true. How come? While I'm saying here the value of variable m, variable m is equal to 0, then I can say in line 2, while m does not equal to 1 or any other value except 0. In this situation, anything comes inside this loop is going to be repeated infinitely, whatever the content is. Okay, so those, or the explanations I just finished, are related to the looping. Do we have any question related to it? Okay, so let's start now with the def command, the definition or the procedure. Procedures in Python can be defined and called. Again, procedures in Python can be defined and called. So again, I might ask you during the exam, two things can be done to the procedure. We can define and call it. We can define it and we can call it. We can define it using the def command. And after that, give it a name. Let's say we want to add here right now 4 definitions or 4 procedures. Each single one is going to be responsible for something to be done inside a calculator. So the first one is going to do, or is going to be responsible for the addition. Here I'm giving it a name, defining the procedure and giving it a name. It can be add, addition, the full word, or it's up to you. Here the name is up to you. You don't have to stick with a specific name. The most important thing that you started with a letter. Okay? Then colon, and then press enter to move down. Keep an eye on the indentation. Look, because this procedure is inside the while loop, the program indented it a little bit to the right side. The same is applied while we move one line down inside the procedure. The second line is going to be indented as well. And this is a common error. While running the program, this is a common error if you missed adding the indentation. So again, if you missed adding the indentation, you have to assign it as you can see the blocks entered inside each other. So here we named this procedure add to do the addition. Inside it, we're going to ask the user to insert two numbers, and then to do the calculation and also to display the output for the user. So the first thing, add a variable to carry the value of the first number, like n1. And then here we have to check the data type we want the user to insert. Let's say that we want to collect a decimal value from the user. If we want to collect a decimal value from the user, we need to use a specific data type, which is float, exactly, which is float. And then input to collect a value from the keyboard. The input command is responsible for collecting the value from the keyboard. After that, we have to mention here a message to be displayed for the user, or instructions for the user. Here we want the user to insert any number. Let's say that we are going to collect 2 numbers, and here I'm asking him to insert the first number only. Input the first number. With the same way, instead of repeating this command, I can copy it, paste it down, change the variable name, and change the sentence to be displayed to the user. Input the second number, for example. To do the calculation, I need to set another variable to carry the output of this calculation. I named it T as a shortcut for total. It can be anything else. It's up to you. You don't have to also use the same variable names. Anything to represent the content you want. So T is equal to N1 plus N2 to get the output of the addition. To display it to the user, you need to do the following using the print, the print command. And here, the total is, and move outside the speech marks, add a comma or plus sign to combine between 2 objects, and then the letter T to display the output. Is it going to work now when I press run? No, nothing is going to be displayed because I haven't called it. It's already defined, but I haven't called it yet. We're going to call all of them inside an if statement later on. So let's show you how we can duplicate it. To make the subtraction, change the name of the procedure, change the sign here in the calculation. Again, one more time. For multiplication, star sign. Slash for division. One more time, we can add also exponent. And I have to rephrase this one. And instead of being input the second number, to be input the exponent value. And here we're asking for only one number. Okay, let's paste it one more time. Square root. There is no need for this one here. And we need to add another command called import, to import a module from the pre-installed modules inside Python. It's called math module. So import math to do it. And then the t will be equal to math dot square root, and then between brackets you have to mention the variable n1. Here we finished adding all the procedures. One for square root, one for exponent, one for division, one for multiplication, subtraction, and addition. Let's make another one for floor division. Let's get another one for floor division. What does it mean, floor division? A division without remainder. A division without remainder. All what we need to do is to add another slash sign inside the equation. So using double slash signs gives you output of a division without remainder. So let's now move, or let's get out to display the output of all those procedures. I have to stake to the indentation. Where should I start from? From this line. I should start from this line. I just went out to check. I have to start from which line? Because I'm still inside this loop, I have to start from this area here. Okay guys, so let's complete. We can also include the cubic root. Let's add it in here. And instead of being square root, let's add here RT for cubic root. And in this one, you need to do the following. It has to be framed as following. Math.pow for power. What's going to be power what? The value of the variable n1 we're collecting. It's going to be multiplied by 1/3. So again, you're going to put the value of number 1 to the power of 1/3 to get the cubic, or the value of the cubic root. And let's start with the if statement that's going to be displaying everything we just listed in here. But first we have to ask the user to choose a specific operation to be applied in this calculator. So I'm adding here an if statement, and before the if statement, a variable to carry the operation the user is going to choose. OP for operation or O for operation, this is not 0, is equal to. Then input, because we're collecting a value from the user. Open bracket. Inside this bracket, double speech marks. Everything I'm going to list right now is going to be inside those double speech marks. Okay? So at the beginning, I'm asking the user to please choose an operation, and then /n. Can you see it's a reversed slash? /n, it's a reversed slash, not normal one. Again?
The one beside enter, right? This one, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. Direct at the left side of the enter button. Okay? And after it, we can mention here the user should insert or should type what to choose the operation. For example, to do the addition, he has to add plus sign for addition. And then slash n one more time to add a new line. And you keep repeating this. Copy this part, for example, here. And insert it in here, minus sign. If the user entered minus, subtraction is going to happen. Copy starting from the slash n, paste it one more time, change the sign to be star for multiplication. Paste it one more time, slash for division, paste it one more time, double slash for F division, floor division. Yes. Yes, it's okay.
In the skew root, you put multiplied by 1/3. Isn't it supposed to be exponent, like double star?
In here,
Yeah.
can you see this one?
Yeah.
It do like this one is responsible of doing the exponent or the power.
Without having to.
Again?
Without having to type like the double.
Yes, yes. Okay. So where did we stop? We stopped at the value of the floor division. Let's keep adding until we finish the rest. In here, if the user entered square root SR for square root, okay. Three R for cubic root. Third root, it's fine. And let's go now to the if statement. Let's go now to the if statement. But if we try to save our program now, let's save it as a revision. And run, check if it's working properly or no. Here is the menu we just finished. Plus, minus, multiply, divide, floor division, square root and third square root or like cubic root. But here nothing is going to be applied if I inserted any value. Nothing is going to be mentioned or applied if I inserted any value. The program will keep repeating it because we haven't mentioned or we haven't called the procedures yet. To call a procedure, let's stop running the program so we can add commands. We need to use an if statement. We need to use an if statement to do the following. If, and then we're going to start mentioning the called operations. So if the user inserted inside the operation a value equal to plus, then call the addition. Else if, when you press enter, else if or elif. Then mention another condition and keep doing it up to the end. So again, elif, if the user entered minus sub. Copy it one more time with the elif. Press enter. Control V. Star. MUL for multiplication. Control V one more time. Slash for division. Control V one more time. Double slash sign. F division. Floor division. Control V one more time. SR. We did it for what? For square root. Okay. Last time we asked the user to do 3R for the cubic root. If we try to run the program right now, choosing any operation of those operations, let's say floor division, for example, input the first number 5, divide 2, it gives you 2 only without any remainders. Okay, and the program repeated itself one more time to ask you for another operation continuously. So in this part of the program we mentioned many things. Let me remind you with it one more time. First thing, the conditional loop, and here we set a false condition, so the program will keep repeating for infinite or infinitely without stoppage. And the second thing we mentioned here, the procedure, and we defined the procedures adding a name for each single one to represent its content. And here inside the if statement we called each single one to be performed. We mentioned also how to make a variable and how to collect a value from the user to be inserted inside it. We said the variable names must start with a letter, and it's preferable if we use the variable name that reflects its content. After that we mentioned the float data type, and we said it's used to collect the decimal value from the user. If we want the user to insert an integer, we can use int as a shortcut for integers, or if we want to collect any value, doesn't have to be numerical value, we can leave it without a data type. The program will understand directly we are collecting string. The string is the default data type for Python. Okay? So after that, we moved down here to line 43. We contained another command line that's going to be displayed for the user. Using the /n, it means that while running the program, you're moving one line down, like when you press enter. After that, inside the if statement, we contained all the situations. Each single situation has to be mentioned inside else if, because we're setting a new condition inside. The last one, we can say else if the user inserted or chose anything else except the mentioned situations. You can print this message to the user, like choose a valid operation. Let's try to run the program. Insert anything except those values. The program is going to ask me to please insert a valid operation. So again, according to the sequence inside the if statement, the program is going to follow. Later on, we'll be adding also the lists to it, but I will explain it for now separately, and it's going to be a part of your test. So let's build a quick list, and this list is going to be students list, or containing some students list. The list has to be contained between square brackets. The list has to be contained between square brackets. Okay? Each single item inside the list, if it's a text, it has to be contained between double speech marks, If it's a number, it can be added directly, or if it's a boolean, it can be added also directly. But this one, I'm going to do it for names. So again, they have to be inserted between double speech marks. Let's add, for example, the first name. I will start with Mr. Teja because he's joining us today. Okay, I'm going to include who else? Let's say my name. And who? Okay.
Don't think this is students.
Let's make it teachers. Okay.
Mr. Mahmoud.
Is it correct?
No,
Spell it. Okay. S. Spell it يا داني. SRE VIDIA. YA. Okay. Find them. Yes. Again? Which one? I will change it right now. Quiet, please. Stay quiet. So again, here we mentioned teachers list. Let's add one more. Who? Who else? Miss Rami. Quiet. Okay, let's change now the language to be Python 3. Okay, guys. After listing list of names inside the teachers list, each single one has its own index value. The index value is identifier for each item inside the list. Let's say that we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 items inside our list. Again, each one is carrying something called index value for it. But the starting value, let's say the starting index value for Mr. Tej is carrying the value of index number 0. And so on, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, the entire time, the value of the index number is equal to the value of the item inside the list minus 1. So again, the value of the index number is equal to the value of the item minus 1. For example, if I try to print any item inside this list now, calling it inside a print command, print between brackets teachers list, and I mentioned here the value of 2, for example, the name of Mr. Ismail is printed because this name carries the value of 0, this one carries the value of 1, and here the third name carries the value of 2. If I try to print now the entire list inside the print command, I have to mention only the name of the list. The entire list is going to be printed. We have also some controlling commands like sort command. If I want to sort the items inside the list, it have to be added before it, similar to this. Teachers list dot sort, and then open empty brackets. Let's try to rerun it again and print it like this. Here the names are going to be arranged according to the alphabetical order. Okay? If we want to change an item inside the list, we can directly mention this item, okay, and assign it to a specific index. Okay? So let's say teachers list with a specific index. Let's say index number 4 is equal to a specific value, equal to Ahmad, for example. And then let's print the list one more time. As you can see, index number 4 is replaced. If I want to append an item inside the list, if I want to append an item to the end of the list, I can use the append command to to add an item to the end of the list, and this one is going to be out of the sort if it's added after the sort. So again, teachers list dot append and then you can mention here the name you want to append, let's say Ali, and then let's print the list after it directly to see the difference. As you can see, Ali's name is added to the end of the list using the append command. If I want to remove an item from the list, we have two ways to remove items. We can remove an item using the remove command or remove the last item using the pop command. So let's check the difference between both. Teachers list again dot remove, and then let's try to remove a specific item from the list, Mahmoud for example, and let's try to print it. Okay, can you see Mr. Mahmoud's name is removed from the list using the remove command. On the other hand, if I want to remove the last item inside the list, I can use a different command which is called pop. Teachers list dot pop and then let's print it and check if it's working properly or no. The last item using the pop command is removed. So those are the commands we can use to remove items from the list. So again, as a summarization, the list, guys, it's a type of variables. It's a type of variables that can carry many items at the same time. The items inside the list can be different. It can be text similar to this one. It can be numbers, or it can be Boolean data type like true or false. So I can contain all of the three data types inside the same list. The most important thing that each single item inside the list carries its own index value. The index value of each item inside the list starts with the value of 0. The entire time it's equal to the value of the item minus 1. So for example, this is the fourth item. It means it carries the 3 as an index value. 4 minus 1 equals 3. Those are the commands we use to arrange or to deal with the list so far. There are so many commands, but we only took those. How to sort the list, to arrange the list according to the alphabetical order, or from the smallest to the largest. And also how to switch an item inside the list, mentioning its index number. We can mention the index number here, like we said, teachers list index number 4 is going to be Ahmad instead of being Servidia. Again, the append command is used to add an item to the end of the list. Last thing is to remove from the list. We took two commands to remove from the list. The first one is called remove. This one is removing a specific item according to what you inserted. Let's say, for example, we have two items with the same name.
Okay.
Okay? If we have two items with the same name, the remove command is going to remove only the first one. The remove command is going to remove only the first one of them. If we have two Mahmouds at the same list, the remove is going to remove only the first one. Last one is the pop command. The pop command is used to remove the last item inside the list. Okay? So that was all for today, guys. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask it or email me as quick as possible. Best wishes with your tests.